with late game execution.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's been a while since I talked about the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a couple of weeks. And the last, was it Friday? When Joel Embiid, I don't know what he did. I heard he got injured again. That's all I heard. I didn't even look into it. I was just like, oh, same old, same old, same old, same old Joel Embiid. But the Philadelphia 76ers have been, how could I put this? How should I say this without being too hyperbolic? I say hyperbolic, hyperpole. I'm thinking hyperbolic for. Anyways, they're 8-16, and like the Milwaukee Bucks, they were struggling terribly. Actually, they still are struggling somewhat, but they were struggling worse than the Milwaukee Bucks. I think at one point in time they had one win to their 8 losses, and they had the whole, what I think is probably pretty stupid and not competitive at all, Joel Embiid saying, "Oh, I'm not going to play back-to-back games anymore for the rest of my career." And I would have to say the 76ers deserve everything they have gotten so far, but in a way they've been peaking. So on Monday night against the Charlotte Hornets, Tyrese Maxey scores 40 points in Charlotte. Paul George added 33 points as the Philadelphia 76ers spoil LaMelo's Ball returned to the floor with a 121-108 win over the Charlotte Hornets on Monday. I didn't even know LaMelo Ball was out. Maxey and George were combined for 12 for 21 on three-pointers. Kelly Oubre had 19, while Andre Drummond, starting in the place of the injured Joel Embiid, chipped in with 15 rebounds for the 76ers. Miles Bridges added 24 picks to Nick Richards and a 19 off the bench to lead the Hornets. Ball returned to action after missing the last 7 games with a strained calf, finishing with 15 points and 11 assists in nearly 26 minutes. Ball's return meant the Hornets are 7-19, finally had their preseason projected starting 5 on the floor together for the first time this season. But that lasted a little more than 3 quarters as Brandon Miller sprained his left ankle with 8:20 remaining in the game on the drive to the basket and did not return. So that's what happened with him. Joel Embiid's out with a sinus fracture. George and Maxey had to carry the load, and they certainly did that, particularly in the first half when they combined for 44 of Philadelphia's 54 points, while shooting 9 for 16 from beyond the arc. A sinus fracture? Not like another excuse for this guy to sit out more games. I just don't get Joel Embiid. See here, that's nothing much left to say here. Let's look at some of the box score right quick. Box score, like I said, Paul George had 33 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 13 for 20, shooting 6 for 9 in 40 minutes. Like I said, Maxey had 40 points, Kelly Oubre had 90. Andre Drummond had 9, and KJ Martin had 2. As far as bench production, nothing much. The high from the bench was Eric Gordon with 9 points in 26 minutes, and he only played 4 people off the bench. As for the Hornets, they had a little bit more production, but it wasn't enough. The Hornets just, as much as you want to say Michael Jordan's the GOAT and everything, there's one little speck on his basketball resume. Possibly is the Charlotte Hornets, or a.k.a. Charlotte Bobcats, whatever you want to call them. They just seem like a not trash organization. I guess you could say that, but that's not the welfare. Damn, I'm having a tough time pronouncing it right now. Welfare. They're a welfare franchise, an organization. always struggling at the bottom. They just they just never what when have they ever been the first seed in anything? Let me see. What is the highest seed they ever finished in the season? We have to go back to the early 90s, don't we? Let's see here. I'm curious now. It's the same thing. They have all the same records. I don't know why they divided the records together. Oh, maybe they are combining them together. I was about to say, why would they make them different? All right. Charlotte Hornets. Where's their best season? Where's their best record? For all the years in the league. 35 years in the league. Their best record has been their best record they ever had. 54-28 in the 96-97 season. They were a 4th seed that season, I think. And that was the team. It was coached by Dave Cowens. I think they had who did they have on that team? Anthony Mason, I know they had on that team. That was their best year, best season. Record wise, that was the best season record wise. The furthest they ever been. Semifinals. That's it. And under Paul Silas, they went to the semifinals twice. And the last time they've been to the semifinals was the 2001-2002 season. They lost. Ever since then, first round. That's it. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2015-16 season where they was 48-34. So they pretty much been a welfare franchise. Just terrible. And I hate to be a Charlotte Hornet fan. Now I do say this. They had the best jerseys of the 90s. They definitely did have the best jerseys of the 90s. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. That's it. That's the only claim to fame. The Bobcat year, I ain't even gonna talk about the Bobcat years. The Bobcat years, they were just terrible. They were 7-59 in 2011-2012 season. As for Charlotte Bobcats, they did make it to the playoffs twice. 2013-14 season, 43-39, lost in the first round prior to Miami, I think that was. 2009-2010 season, 44-38, lost in the first round. I don't know who they lost to in the first round that year. It might have been the Nets. I'm thinking it might have been the Nets. Will they let me know? Let's see here. I don't think they're going to let me know. Let's see here. 2009-2010 season, the Lakers won it all that year. Who did they play? They got swept by the Orlando Magic that season. Yeah. Back to the Philadelphia 76ers. Sorry, I went off track with that. I just wanted to know. So far this season, the 76ers are 8-16. They still haven't put together anything like the Bucks had. At least the Bucks have right the wrongs of earlier this season, but safe to say, Philadelphia 76ers fans, I don't think y'all going anywhere this season. You got a star player who don't want to play back-to-back games. You might need to. You got Paul George over there, Podcast P, who's more interested in podcasting, and he himself get injured too much. And the only person you really got that really cares about winning looks like Tyrese Maxey. The 12th in the league right now, 8-16. Points per game, 105.3, 29 out of 30 teams. Almost dead last. Opponents' points per game, 110.6, 10th out of 30. Offensive rating so far this season 107.8, almost dead last, 27 out of 30. Defensive rating 113.3, 13 out of 30. So defensively, they look good, but they can't score worth a crap. Because everybody keeps getting hurt, and their main scorer is Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, somebody 6'2", 6'3" million main scorer. And everybody else hurt. It's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work with the team. Nick Nurse, of course, doesn't get any smoke. You haven't heard anything about Nick Nurse because we all know why that's happening. And last but not least, before I end this video, just because I'm curious right now and somewhat petty, let's see how the Milwaukee Bucks are doing since their turnaround this season. So far, the Milwaukee Bucks are 14-11. Currently 6th in the East. So far this season, up until at least right now, points per game 113.3, 14 out of 30. Opponents' points per game 111.9, 12. Offensive rating 114.5, 11th out of the league. 113.1, 12th out of the league. So they have improved. Shoot, they improved from last year. Defensively, they have improved from last year. That can always be better, but I always say, in order to win a championship or at least be a contender to be in the finals, you at least have to have at least top 15, anywhere from top 15 defense. And right now, the Bucks are on pace for that as they're 12th in the league in defensive efficiency or rating. So, yeah. I know what's going on with this. We all know what's going on with 76ers. Never mind. We know what's going on with them. The 76ers just have a bad roster. That's all. It's a bad roster. No, I take that back. It's not a bad roster. It's poorly constructed. It's poorly constructed because you have two people who are injury prone. You can get away with one person being injury prone, but you got two people injury prone that's over the age of 30 now. Yeah. Their future, I don't know. They paid Paul George too much money. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyways, as the world turns,